Hello my marvellous sausages. Well, by now you're probably deep into your preparation for Season 13, turning up a week tomorrow. But I've got some really important information in regard to that preparation, so things that you would normally do don't actually apply this time around because of the new changes that are going to be turning up in-game. And I'm also going to go over briefly all the weapons that are going to be sunsetted. There's 21 of them altogether, so we'll point out some holes that may need to be plugged in your armory. I'm sure we'll get some new weapons with the next season, because we always do. Now, one of the first things that you normally do at the end of a season is to start hoarding bounties, particularly your weekly bounties, because you can get a nice wodge of XP by cashing them in when the new season starts. Well, got news for you guys, they're going to completely delete all our weekly bounties. If you've got some in your inventory waiting to be cashed in to give yourself a bit of a boost at the beginning of the season, don't bother, cash them in before, because all weekly bounties will be deleted when the season starts on Tuesday, February the 9th. Because as you may know, we're going over to a seasonal challenges model, so weekly bounties are no longer part of the game's ecosystem. So keep that in mind, don't work your balls off just for those, because they're going to be gone. Right, okay, a couple of other things that you might not be aware of. First of all, you need to cash in your Crucible tokens, because Shaxx is going over now to the new reputation system, so any Crucible tokens that you might have will become redundant, so cash them in to get a wodge of legendary shards and things like that, and some goodies before the season ends. Talking about defunct items in your inventory, there's 4 planetary materials that are going to be useless as of Season 13. Now, these are the Phase Glass Needles from Io, the Alkane Dust from Titan, Simulation Seeds from Mercury, and Seraphite from Mars. So if you've got an opportunity to use them at a vendor between now and the start of the season, do it, otherwise they're going to be completely useless and sitting in your inventory like a big fat turd. Talking of useless turds in your inventory, I don't know if you're aware, but at the beginning of Beyond Light, they've made a couple of extra things redundant, and you might have them sitting in your inventory just taking up space, and you can cash them in for legendary shards. It's the Boon of the Crucible and the Boon of the Vanguard. Basically those tokens that you use to take in order to get extra drops at the end of a Crucible match or at the run of a strike. Now, if you cash in the Crucible ones, you can see you can discard them or dismantle them. You get 25 legendary shards per Crucible token thingy. Crucible Boon, rather. And then for the Vanguard Boon, you get 10 legendary shards by dismantling each of those. I had 40 of those stacked up. I had no idea, so I just thought I'd let you know. Another thing that's going to be removed from our inventory come Season 13 are the memory fragments. You know, you do the quest from the Stranger, you know, kill certain things, amount of things with stasis in various activities, and you get rewarded the memory fragment, and then you can use that to buy a fragment to stick into your stasis super. Well, they're all going to be gone, so if you've got any in your inventory, make sure you use them up. And also, if you're close to completing any, it's well worth concentrating on those before the new season starts, so you can collect them and upgrade your supers. Something else you might not be aware of: if you haven't collected stuff from a previous season pass, you can go to the Bungie website and collect it from there, and it'll go into your inventory. I shall leave a link in the description below so you can all click through and have a look, and just in case you haven't picked up anything from the season of the arrivals, because at the moment that is still last season, so you've got a week to pick any of that stuff up, because come next Tuesday, February the 9th, it's going to roll over and Season of the Hunt will be the previous season. So anything you haven't picked up on your Season of the Hunt pass, you'll be able to pick up there. Another thing to be aware of: the armor, when you pick it up from the season pass, will actually drop at your current base light level, so that's something to remember too. You might actually want to hold on to claiming things from your current pass until next season, if that makes sense, because you're going to earn them as drops in game anyway. Right, let's turn to the weapons that are going to be sunset. Let's have a look. Well, for auto rifles, we've got the Uriel's Gift. That's on its way out. That's the Arc Auto Rifle. Not too sure if there's an Arc Auto Rifle replacement for that one. The next auto rifle to be buggering off is the Steel Feather Repeater. That's a kinetic one at 720 RPM. Not many replacements for that. Maybe the Arctic Haze, but of course that's an energy auto rifle. Going to move on now to Scout Rifles, and the one that's buggering off is called the Patron of Lost Causes. Then we're going to go to our Pulse Rifles. Now, the one that's disappearing there is the Infinite Paths 8, which is quite nice. And unfortunately, that one's going. That's a kinetic rifle. Onto hand cannons, we've got the old-fashioned. Oh, I love the old-fashioned. It's such a shame that that one's going. The Dire Promise is the only one that's kind of remaining around there. And then we've got the Jack Queen King 3 as well. That's going to be disappearing. Never used that one that much, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. Right, moving on to the sidearms now. A lot of people's favourite, the Breachlight, is going to be dropping off our radar, and apparently there's no 325 RPM sidearm replacement, which is a bit of a bum. And then we've got the Buzzard, which is a ritual weapon. That one's disappearing. And then we've also saying goodbye to the Traveller's Judgment and the Last Hope. Crikey, there's quite a few sidearms going this season, isn't there? Okay, moving on to shotguns, of which there are 3 disappearing. You've got Hawthorne's shotgun, that's going, used that one quite a bit. We've got the Perfect Paradox. That was such a shame that that's going, because it was kind of a tentpole weapon for Season of the Dawn, and you thought they'd keep that one round, but there we are, that one's buggering off too. And then the Python is going as well. It's basically anything that we earned in that one season there. The Python is another one. Bye-bye! I loved you. You were very, very nice. Okay, let's have a look at the grenade launchers. We're having the Martyr's Retribution. That one's buggering off. Now, that's a wave frame grenade launcher. I think that was the first wave frame grenade launcher we had. We've had another one this season as well called the Deafening Whisper, and that will be the only wave frame left in the game once Martyr's Retribution goes. So there we go. Moving on to fusion rifles. These things are getting a buff, so maybe, I don't know, we'll see if we'll miss these guys, but it's the Elatha and the Gallant Charge. Both of those are buggering off. Going into sniper rifles, the Trophy Hunter is going to be disappearing, and I don't think there's a Void sniper rifle replacement for that one there, which is a bit of a bum. And then moving on to the rocket launchers, we've got the Moss Epoch and the Pyroclastic Flow. They're taking their onions and buggering off too, so the rocket launcher buff that we're going to be getting next season won't make any difference to those, because they'll be Pee-wee and Poxy and Poor. Yes. As for linear fusion rifles, 2 are disappearing. Line in the Sand and the Komodo. I like both of them. And that means that the only viable one is the Corsair's Wrath at the moment that dropped from the last season. Now, it's worth bearing in mind, even though I've read that list of stuff that's all disappearing and you may be fretting about it, we're going to see holes being plugged this season as well, and I do think that this Season 13 is going to have more of a heft to it than Season of the Hunt did, because I remember with Season of the Undying, the one that launched alongside Shadowkeep, that was really small and totally tiny, really, and I think Season of the Hunt is suffering from the same thing. I think this next season, Season of the Chosen, will have a bigger drop and hopefully a lot more weapons. I know some are going to be recycled as well, but there we go. That's the way it's going to go so far. I hope you found all that information useful, and if you did, drop me a subscribe and a like, and leave a comment about how furious you are or about how happy you are about the changes. There's going to be a trailer dropping tomorrow, so we'll have a look at that as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you all again very soon. Sausage out.